for instance, hey, can you send me over your ebook? I send over my ebook. Same day, someone asks the same thing. They see a pattern, and their AI picks
Interesting.
it up as spam. So I generally have to switch and use a bit.ly link every damn time I send out a stupid ebook. That's why I just say, hey, just go to my inbox, please, and do it
Yeah.
that way. Because literally last night, what all I did literally was change my timeline cover to my white label SEO. Within 5 minutes, I was down.
Hmm.
Because their
Interesting.
AI recognizes the images and stuff that you've used on other accounts and stuff. And I mean, it's just, this is why more and more you're seeing in my email, I'm saying, check out my LinkedIn, catch me here, because I'm pushing my traffic honestly away from Facebook over to LinkedIn and email so I can control it, or at least have some kind of control.
I think it's almost the beginning of the end for Facebook.
I
I know a lot
agree.
of my
I know
friends
I
who have,
didn't. I really didn't believe it until I mean, when everybody screamed, about the big tech companies doing what they did to Trump and stuff, I was like, yeah, I kind of understand. I mean, when someone's got that kind of influential power and they want to blame this person, I'm not saying what I believe left or right or any of that crap, but because honestly, if
yeah.
most people knew what I believe, y'all all hate me anyways, because I was a registered libertarian. So, um, but nevertheless, whatever. But when they did that, I was like, I can't see Facebook ever going down. And now I'm like, nah, I think y'all fucked. I think y'all done screwed up, because now
Yeah.
y'all are pissing everybody off, because it's not just people that do organic marketing. It's people that just you know you know you got people that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they just they get rid of them, and it's ridiculous. So I just
Yeah.
don't understand. I don't understand the concept whatsoever.
Dennis Yu had his business manager shut down the other day.
Oh, I saw
This
it.
is a this is a guy who's an evangelist
No,
for
no, 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 no,
Facebook.
no, 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 no. Dennis, you used to work for Facebook. He was their top
There you go.
guy. He was their
There you go,
top
Dave.
guy. Okay. That's what I tell people. I've met Dennis Yu. I know all about him. I've learned from Dennis Yu. Okay. And when I
Yeah.
heard that, I was like, what the?
Yeah.
I couldn't even fathom it. I was like, Dennis
Yeah.
Yu? This man spends
Yeah.
millions. And it's like, and then on top of it, he used to work for y'all. And not only that, Facebook goes to Dennis Yu and gets his advice and advises on advertising,
Crazy, eh?
and they still shut his stuff down. That's why I was like,
Crazy.
what? And I had
Oh,
someone, one of the group members go, Michelle, she wrote me, because everybody goes, which account to use? And I say, honestly, I ain't got a clue. I don't know. Today, last night, this one was shut down. I woke up this morning and it's back. And I was like, what? Oh, that's interesting. Well, I guess I'll use
yeah.
it. And because
That's why you need.
last night I was having a hacker try to go in and break it so I could get my original one back. This is why I probably have 6 or 7 different accounts, and I have probably 6 or 7 different admins in both in my group, but in the group I'm not an admin of. I'm just a moderator of it. And I have to wait for one of the admins to go, yeah, we'll let you back in. So
Yeah.
but I'm gonna let y'all guys really today, because I already talked to Molly. Molly will be here, I believe, Tuesday. And Molly, we're gonna, basically it's gonna be a question and answer with a Google expert. She works with Google. She's a contractor with Google, and pretty much anything and everything y'all guys can ask about GMB verifications, suspensions, anything and everything you can think of. This woman can either help you or she can answer your questions. This is my go-to gal whenever anybody's ever suspended. I send them right to her. you know I don't hide any of my assets from people. If you want to use them, use them. but don't blame me if anything happens. I'm just telling you that much. But I've never had anything happen with them, but nevertheless, you never know. Um,
Mhm.
Is she able to help us? Wink, wink. Or
yes.
nice. I love it.
Basically, she tells you, for example, how do you get a business name verified? Well, and most people don't listen to this. She's not going to tell you do this, this, this. No one's going to tell you do this, 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 except for someone like me and don't, or a black hat person. She will tell you Google needs, however you get this is up to you, but Google needs an electric bill and a DBA. As long as you got that and you give it to her and you fill out your notification, you're fine. Now, however you get it, once again, is up to you.
Yeah, I just had a DBA get rejected by Google today, so I guess I'll have to come up with an electric bill. Wink, wink.
Just have an electric bill. She asked for an electric bill, credit card bill, something like that, with your DBA with signage, and she can get it done usually within 24, 48 hours. So, because I'm gonna probably wind up having to do the same thing for a Canadian in Winnipeg one. So obviously I don't live in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's brutal out there with GMBs right now. It's really, really
Yeah.
tough.
So I mean, I
Sorry, what
understand.
does DBA stands for?
Doing business as, it's in the States, they use it a lot. Instead of having a registered LLC, as an individual, I can go into a bank or into a business, the business permit section, open up give them a basically
Oh,
what we call a fictitious name.
like a business registration.
You got it.
basically.
And
Got
that's
it.
all
Okay.
it is. Instead of actually having a business license, I could do that. And they look at it as the same thing equivalently. And you can
Yeah.
pick up those for like, I think $50 or something.
Yeah, up until today, that had always worked for me, but that's what I said. The landscape now is even DBAs are getting rejected, so it's like Jesus.
Yeah, she gets them through. I mean, I have not had her not get them through, so I'm I'm gonna do my Winnipeg one that way probably. So
It's
I
awesome.
went.
I feel like you're the Italian version of SEO. Like you're like, you know what I mean?
Hey,
Like the
I have
Godfather.
fun.
Hey,
Nah.
I'll get your GMB taken care of. You know what I mean? It's just
Exactly.
amazing.
There was one guy the other day posted in a group, and I bought him up. He said he had like, I think it was like 30 level 8 local guides, and I said I'll take them all. And he said, "Come inbox." I was like, "Sure, I can win the inbox guy." I mean, this is a guy that sells them all the time. He does black hat and rank and rent. So I wrote him. I said, "You ain't in Canada right now?" He's like, "Nah, not in Canada." He doesn't have nothing.
So if someone had a friend that wanted to buy these, like where does one do that?
You ask someone like me that can give you a list, and this guy that I know, he has a spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. I love it.
He has a
And
spreadsheet. You pretty much say, "What state do you want?"
oh my
And
gosh.
he has them in a bunch of states. Imagine this. So, for example, when you're traveling in the U.S. or wherever you're at, shit, why not ask if you're going to be there for a few weeks? Why not ask for Google verification card? I mean, you
Never
can.
know when you can use them.
And basically, there are people that's all they do. It's like, I know, for example, let's say Holly Starks, she has, when she does CTR manipulation, she has a damn network. If you look at it, a network of phones, just let's say a 50, 60 damn phones, and they all have their own SIM card. And she all has them searching for those keywords when she's driving through an area. And she'll tell people, "Hey, I'm going to be in Atlanta. If you want me to help you out, let me know." It's going to cost you, but she'll do it.
Yeah, it's like CIA SEO stuff, man. It's great.
But there was a guy, I'm going to show y'all guys this, but there's a guy that posted this yesterday. And he's like one of the few people that I love everything he posts. His personality, I like it. He's a dark, twisted type of a guy, in my opinion. But his name is Dan, and I posted on my wall yesterday on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, check this out." And this is what Dan had posted. It was the same thing I was talking about. Basically, what we call it in Black Hat, though, is called skyscraper method. But this method is a little bit different. Skyscrapers kind of similar. It's like where I go search my term on BuzzSumo. This is one way of doing it. Search my term on BuzzSumo. I'm going to give you an example instead of just talking about it.
Lou, you sound like you should be on radio, man. Your voice is so deep and it's just awesome on your microphone.
Coming at you, Paul. 40 minutes of straight classic rock.
That's awesome, dude.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say I wanted to look up something that's trending, and let's pick the keywords, and let's go, for instance, I'm actually doing this for a client of mine. So, and you go over here and go, who's the one that got the most traffic, right? And I'm looking at all these terms, and this is these two right here, my babies. So I go, let me look over here. What's the number one article? Okay, how to ship a car from the USA to UK, London. And it shows me, if I click on it, it shows me the article, where it's at, everything. Skyscraper method would be take this article, slap 1,500 words on it, and you come back to them and say, hey, y'all screwed up. This was plagiarized. My original article is here, and they show them the original article. Give me my damn backlinks. And they put your original article on it, take theirs down, everything. You actually go to Google and report them as well. That's one way of doing it. But the way I'm talking about is, for instance, with this article, you know, for this car shipping and stuff, you can go, who are the top influencers that are sharing these articles, how many subscribers they have, how many videos they have, how many views they have. And basically when they tweet it, YouTube, and then this is another influencer, and you contact them and basically go, hey, I noticed that you had actually, you know, you posted my article from back in 2020. My team has since updated it. Would you care to please look at it and update your article? And you go in their DM box and you do that. And whenever you do that, generally they're going to, you know, instantaneously, you know, not instantaneously, but you know what I mean. They're going to want to update their article. They're going to update their information. Then we can also go on here. And there's another tool. We go to backlinks. For instance, let's go to here. Copy that link, go here, search. Why can't you find it, you bastard? Nevertheless, what you have to do, this tool normally isn't spazzing out like this, but basically you're going to find who all is backlinking to this page. I'm going to grab my other tool and see if I can get it. But basically you find out who's backlinking to them. And then you email them and say, hey, you actually have our website on your, you know, our article on your website. Please update it to the new 2021. Just these right here is what it's saying, but I don't believe this, not whatsoever. But here's a backlink. Ultimately, you want to find out who's backlinking to that article. And then Yep, there we go. So all this information, then you contact each one of these people, and then you reach out to them. He posted that the other day. He's one guy I would definitely follow if I was y'all. He posts all types of just. I've seen the man take some keywords and get them ranked within days.
What's his name?
Dan
His
what?
name's Dan. Let me pull it up for you.
Dan Klein?
I believe Klein, but I want to make sure. Dan Kurtz, this guy. This I'm talking about the type of crap he posts.
Oof.
He's a pretty he's a gamer slash techie. He's talking about stock exchange lately. But he posts a lot of really good stuff. This one right here about SEO, and he's like, he'll do a lot of stuff, but if you watch his stuff, it's pretty good. And this one right here is the one I'm talking about, this article on the 27th, and he goes into great detail about it. And then this one's called Partnership Profits, the one I'm talking about in specific, which is one I shared on my wall. It's basically stealing other people's backlinks, which is this one, which is on my wall right now, as long as this account's up. And it's claiming other people's traffic, how to go viral, basically. Then I have some other bots and stuff that you can use as well. As long as you're using neighborhood IPs, you're good. But he's a guy to follow. So I want to open it up. Anybody has questions and stuff today? I just really want to open up, kind of open floor, because there are people that have just tons of different questions or emailing me about GMB and various things. And I don't want to just cover, some people are saying, a lot of it's just blowing them out of the water, because a lot of people are either they've been doing this for a while. They've been involved in the industry for a while. They already know how to rank a website. Then there are other people that don't know nothing. So I would like to open it up so they could ask questions. And if y'all have any, questions that we haven't answered or you would like to know answers to, just open up and ask them.
I got a question.
Yep. Go ahead, Anthony.
How do I get a client out of the sandbox? Fairly new client, new website, brand new website. I've been, doing, it's like the SEO looks great, but they're sitting in the sandbox. How do I get them out?
Why would you, out of all people, buy a brand new domain name instead of an expired domain name? That's what I don't get.
Client bought it before we.
There we go. Okay. In my opinion, the way I've done it in the past, have you done any DA increasing, trying to manipulate their DA ranking or anything?
Yeah, their domain rating is actually quite high.
And they still are in this, sandbox?
Yep.
Huh. 301 redirects at all?
Maybe one, not with expired domains, but not too much on that. Nope. Quite a bit of link building, lots of content.
Can you send me, it's up to you, send me an email with the link so I can look at it and see what's going on?
My pleasure. Yeah, I don't want to like break it out with the.
Yeah, that's to say, just send it to me and I'll look at it, because I've had one or two in the sandbox, but it's pretty simple usually for me to get them out, and I've never had an issue with it. Generally now, especially, I tell people all the time, even new business owners, you need to buy an expired domain name, period. And sometimes you can and can't. I had one yesterday that told me, nope, I absolutely want my business name in it, don't want the keywords. I said, okay, that's fine. Whatever. Questions, now's your time.
Yeah, William, I put one in the chat here. One of the things I'm seeing is for individual service providers, they're going up and competing against Thumbtack or Yelp And I've looked at some of their site structures, and those
Mm.
site structures have examples where if you're looking for, service keywords / near me,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes to a dynamic page. I mean, do you have any examples of how you would leverage the near me keyword?
There is one I'm working on right now for a moving company. And the moving company, I'm sorry, my wife's bringing me coffee. And the moving company, I'm not going to use names. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to tell you this is one way I've done it before and one way I'm doing it now. So we have a main website, and it's, all about moving from North Carolina to Florida, Florida to here, every city you could think of, right? And we're pulling in really good traffic. So it's the traffic's not the problem. Rankings aren't a problem. I'm talking about we're probably ranked for over 2,000 keywords. Now we're going to build a website, and I call them directory websites, just like Yelp. Well, the website that we're currently in the process of building is basically a moving reviews website. Essentially, what we're going to do with this directory type website is we're going to take all the movers, every single one of them that we can find in the entire USA, put them all on there, and this, this could possibly get him in trouble, but it's up to the client in a lot of cases. We've done this before, but basically you take all the movers, put all the negative reviews on there for all of those specific movers and why not to use them. And then we're going to take our clients' websites and put them at the top of the list, if you will, the 5-star rated ones. But you're using those terms like best mover near me, moving companies near me, stuff like that. I would love to show you. That's one of the things. I can't do that one. I just can't. But I would definitely use it. I mean, for example, like the one you saw in Winnipeg, everybody's competing for the term electrician Winnipeg, and it ain't got much traffic, but the one that's not being competed for is the one with all the traffic.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing for some keywords. They're picking either service provider and then the keyword, but there's other better keywords to go for that have more real traffic volume.
For instance, I give you another for instance. There's another guy. If you're an agency to follow, his name, let me pull his that full name. It's Aaron James. Who here knows Aaron? Aaron James. He helped. Yep. And he helps people start up agencies that basically don't know how to get leads. He fills your your funnel up with leads, et cetera, et cetera. And I've watched him over the past year or so, and a lot of his ideas are really, really good. And one of which, for example, is creating, instead of just, let's say, your own agency website, is to have your own directory website for, let's say, contractors. And you're going to get that thing ranked or whatever and put their information on there. And in the same token, while you're doing this directory website, they also need things like web design, SEO, Facebook marketers, et cetera, et cetera. And by doing that, you can then in turn, leverage it, if you will, to reach out to them and get them to sign up for web design, SEO, et cetera, and offer them small, if you will, what we call smaller packages. Let's say a service that only costs $100, and work them up to the bigger packages that are thousands of dollars or whatever. And that's one way he mentions it. Another, there are a lot of ways you could leverage these directories too for leads, for example. Indeed, you can go on Indeed, set it up where it automatically notifies you when people are looking for, let's say, web design, WordPress, SEO, work from home, all that stuff. And then when it sends you the lead information, you can then contact them. Then there are also phantom busters and things you can use as well to create, get leads as well. That's what I tell people all the time. It was like, for me, when I've seen Aaron post some of this stuff, I was like, he's probably doing a lot of the same stuff I've had, because I have no problem getting leads. Leads have never been an issue for me. and it's not just from, organic either. A lot of it's from other things. So any other questions? Let's say good morning, everyone. Breakfast time, downtown Manila. How you doing, Jeff?
Will, when you go to expired domains
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking for the domains there, you just do you then just go over to Namecheap or GoDaddy and buy them there, or are you
I
buying
usually
them
buy
within that
them off of
platform?
Namecheap. You don't buy them in that platform. They'll tell you where they're available at.
Okay.
Let me
So how
pull
does
it
this
open.
platform make any money then?
I don't know. I don't ask people that sort of question. I could assume they're getting a referral fee. I could assume.
Okay.
Let me do a screen share on that screen, and I'll show
And
you
then
what
I
you're
take
talking
some
about.
of those, I take some of those domains over to Ahrefs, and they don't seem to be that great.
I'm not buying them for that reason. For the most part, I'm buying them for the reason that they're not in the sandbox.
Gotcha.
Now,
Okay.
sometimes you'll get one like this one, for instance. This has, you can come in here. Let's say, let me show you this first. If you go to buy, you click on available. GoDaddy,
Yep.
it's not available. Dot, and then Namecheap. Namecheap's who I get most of them from. But let's say, for example, roofer or roofers. And
Are you trying to get the city in there as well, or just the
not
keyword?
in this case? I'm just kind of showing you like this one. This is Dallas area roofers. It has 971 backlinks. So the ones with more backlinks, all these, like, I want to look at ones that do they have spammy backlinks, do not have spammy backlinks, etc. And then I would buy those. Obviously, when you can get ones like this is roofers.io. That's what I tell people all the time. When you tell me that the name doesn't matter, I laugh. iRoofers.net. This one right here, which is Muncie Roofers, Florida Roofers, $5,000. There are people that, like me, they'll literally buy up domain names, sit on them until someone wants to buy them. This one's, Roofers Elite, but that's how we do that.
Okay.
But let me go over here, stop that share. You have any examples of near me where we talked to? I know sites like a lot of them, because you'll do a search, and what you'll see is like one or two people for roofers or whatever in that area, and the rest of it's Yelp and Angie's List and everything else. So that's why I tell people you can't just get rid of them, but we could utilize them as best as we can, as much as we can, and by either there are ways to get ranked on Yelp, and a lot of it's similar, but besides that, paying them, obviously. And then on top of it, with them, reviews, how many reviews, but they do I don't care what they say, they do review gating straight out. And depending on if you're paying them or not, your reviews, they'll show some reviews and then they'll hide other reviews because they say they're not, basically, we like this review, we don't like this review. We don't believe this one has anything to do with this area. We believe that this one has to do with this area. And then the only consistency I have found so far is the sheer fact that, are you paying them or are you not paying them? So
yeah,
this is very much true. Jeff said to be active on Facebook, could do a live. It works well. LinkedIn, use a VA every few hours a day. And that's been a lot of my secret, but I don't use a VA. The only reason why is it's pretty difficult to duplicate yourself and go into groups. I would love to be able to find a VA to do that. I believe I might have one that I'm going to be able to start training in that sense, but the lives is where I get a lot of my engagement from too. So, and you can start picking up traffic that way.
I had a question for you. I was trying to use your clearly eye care site today to model for a client with like the the neighborhood pages.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to confirm, so when you click into a neighborhood, you copy that link and then you put that in Bitly, and then that's the link you want to hypertext the neighborhood name in, correct?
No. Mm-mm.
So I
So
did it wrong. Okay.
on the actual page, for example, I'll pull it up. Let me go ahead and share.
And then can you show also how you got the photos from Google onto there, like the actual mechanics? Because I couldn't break that out.
Yeah, we'll break that out, but just not today.
Oh, okay.
I've trained one specific VA. That's all he does, because at one point we had to do, and Jeff's on here, we had to do 100 plus websites, all of which have neighborhood pages. So he became pretty much, he's got it down to a T on how to do it. But let's say Houston, Texas, and you could pull this up with Wikipedia. Wikipedia is really going like this. See this link here, which I've shown y'all already, but then it breaks everything down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's one aspect of it. Now the things to do, places to go,
Mm-hmm.
you go like this: Houston, Texas, things to do. I can even probably pull open the back end of that site and show you, but you have all the things to do and everything right here. And then all of this is being pulled like this right here. So we'll have the image, and the image is named exactly what it is here, right? And then, well, what's the actual image link and everything? We'll pull that information from here. Same thing with here. Let me show you. I'll show you the back end of the website. Let me pull it up real quick. Can't show y'all that part, but and this website we're actually doing some CTR on. I've been seeing her jump up in her rankings, and then her traffic's been increasing. Her photos have been increasing. There's one I even seen. I love it when people say, well, it doesn't matter about photos. Well, if you look at her photo views, it shows, you know, for an eye doctor at that she's getting more views than her competition on her photos, which are her posts that we do on her GMB. Let's see here. So pull up service areas, Lockhart. Let me scroll all the way down to the bottom. So, and we're going to go edit with Elementor. So I'm going to open up Elementor. If I go down to the bottom, I mean, it's rather simple. These are sliders. All of these images. And then each one of these images are set to the GMAP. So how do I get the GMAP? Austin's Park and Pizza. Austin's Park and Pizza. Because you can't pull it. It won't let you pull it from the things to do. So we have to do it a different way. Austin's Park and Pizza. And then I get it from here.
Mm-hmm.
Copy. Paste. You see the map link right here.
So you weren't throwing that part into Bitly. That was
Nope.
That was for the actual GMB posts only.
That's for GMB posts. So for GMB posts, one day we'll use Bitly, and one day we won't use Bitly. You know, one day we'll use Bitly, one day we'll do GMAPs, one day Bitly, one day GMAP, one day Bitly, GMAP. The other thing you can do is, and I've seen this done, I just don't think is as effective, and I think it's too time consuming for me, but they'll put both the Bitly and the actual link, excuse me, in the GMB post. I've seen some people go so far as to put the previous post link at the top of their post and then put a short link at the bottom. I mean, it can get pretty crazy with how much data people want to put in there. And to me, some of it doesn't push the needle as far as you want it. But let me look at this real quick. And I'll show
you're
you
saying
about this.
when there's a GMap and that you have that link to copy, that's fine. Don't use Bitly for that. It's for other links.
Bitly I'm using specifically for when I create, let's say, neighborhood pages, service pages, stuff like that. And instead of me sharing those links directly on Learn More, I'm pushing them through Bitly, and then I'm pushing them onto Google My Business posts. And I'm just doing that because Bitly is a high DA website, and
I'm sorry. Can you explain what do you mean Bitly? I don't understand that.
Bitly. So Bitly, have you ever? Let me show you. Pull this up. Bitly is a short link creator. In other words, instead of sharing a link that, let's say, for example, says clearlyeyecare.com/locations/services, optometrist, or glaucoma, it will then take that link, you copy it, you paste it into Bitly, bitly.com, and it shortens it to something like bit.ly
Oh, okay, I understand.
/3p.
So
Yeah.
just you shorten the link. Okay, I
And
just didn't know it's called like that. I know what
Yeah,
this
and
is.
the only reason I'm doing the shortener is because of the fact I've seen it work with SEO, and I've also seen the fact that it's helped with getting things indexed faster.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're using a link right from Google, you're not worrying about it being indexed quickly
Nope.
because it's coming from Google. Yeah.
Nope.
Gotcha.
And you're almost forcing them to index it. So let me show you this real quick.
William, is the point of posting the GMAP link, is that for a proximity signal, or is it in the hopes of getting a click through from a viewer to visit your GMB?
No, I do it for proximity signals.
Okay.
And I'll show you. So for example, here's one, because people say, posts don't work, consistently doing them. So we were doing it back right around December. We were doing it about twice a day right here. And then we started increasing it up to about 4 to 5 times a day. And then you see the graph go berserk. So businesses like her, their pictures or photos and posts are only being seen 36.9 times. Hers are being seen 52,000 times.
And those are actual photos, not stock photos that have been created?
Well, these are stock photos sometimes.
Oh, all right.
I can't use obviously real photos for most of her stuff, but we create these in Canva. And then but that's why I tell people all the time I know it works. It's a sheer fact I've used it before.
Are you manually posting, or are you using a tool to automatically post over the course of the
No,
week?
I have a VA. I have more than one VA, obviously, but we use VAs to do it. It's just, in my opinion, it's cheaper, but the only expensive part of having a VA is training them and having SOPs. So that's the most expensive part, but guys are quiet today. What other questions you got? Yep.
How do you claim MapQuest if you don't have Yext?
I have an article that I was going to put in my thing about that, because you can claim it without it. And I'll drop that in
tried,
there.
and they're like contact Yext.
Nope. There's an actual form for it. And we'll go over that, but there's an actual form for it. Let me see if I can pull it off of my desktop. It's a basic listing. Have you ever tried doing the basic listing and submitting a support ticket to the business team?
No, I gave up and actually just joined Yext, and like now I
Oh,
charge my clients like $40 a month if they want to join Yext with me.
yeah, I understand, because I tell them, say, I wouldn't mind doing it. It's just there's so many upsells, and sometimes clients are like, they don't want to do nothing when it comes to selling. Let me copy this. I'm going to give you all this article. It has the actual link in it and everything, but this is the only information you need.
Thanks.
And if you cannot see it in the chat and you're watching the video, just message me and let me know, and I will take this and post it as well in the group. And on top of it being in the group, I'll also post it in the back end of the course material as well. But it's just, it's on maps, mapquest.com. This one's specifically for MapQuest, because what normally has to happen is if you're going to get listed on MapQuest, you have to have a Yext account because they're partners. But that's one of the ways how they sell their, packages and stuff. But that's not the case. You don't have to have them. What was the question? I heard someone trying to ask a question. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, William. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I actually forgot what I was going to ask, so hopefully
Okay.
it'll hop back in.
Okay, Sherry.
Okay. I had a question. Have you heard of Mr. Router?
Like the plumber, Roto-Rooter?
Yes. Well, not Roto-Rooter. So there's a business called Mr. Router.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to any of their city pages, within any of their city pages, what they have done is they have put in the postal codes. But when you go to the iInspect, I don't know how they did the custom map, the way they build it, where each postal code shows up. But when you do the inspect, within the code, they have integrated like hundreds and hundreds of latitude and longitudes. So I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I'll
if
definitely look at that then. I've had someone else ask me something similar, but yeah, it's typical like the banks and stuff. And if you click on them, then it shows you everything. Mr. Router, then it gives the address, then it says view page, and it has how many locations and everything. This is probably, I can almost guarantee, custom coded. It's not.
let me just share this one link with you. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna paste it within the chat. So if you pull that up, and then if you were to scroll down to where the map is, then you can clearly see the postal codes, the way they put them together in there. And then the other thing they have it is, I think you probably missed it. Can you scroll up right there? So yeah, so you're not seeing the map they have on the right. But anyway, if you click somewhere within those postal codes, and if you were to go to inspect, then you will see, or right there. So you will see all of these latitude and longitudes.
City list repeater zip codes. So it's got the cities and it's got the more than likely it's custom coded. I'm just trying to see if I could see how they did it. Mr. Local, because sometimes you could see it. Flex direction, flex block, city list, city codes. Yeah, that'd be really nice. I'll have to look at it and see if we can do something like that in WordPress, but more than likely custom coded, or I have to code it out.
So step by step, how do we turn the geogrids from red to green?
Dude, he's relentless. Eh? That's awesome, Anthony. Love it.
Anthony
That's what
is
we're here for.
The whole reason I joined this
amazing.
course, man. I
That's
see his
why we're
posts
here.
I see his posts on the GeoGrids on Facebook. I'm like,
The only thing that I can guarantee you, probably that Anthony, you had told me you don't do or you weren't doing that I do, is those neighborhood pages the way I make them. Because
Okay.
Anthony, tell you a little backstory about this, because I talked to Dr. X about this, is I never even heard of Dr. X. Never even heard of the man until Anthony said, see my grids, and he was like, hey, have you ever seen Dr. X? You look like you're studied with Dr. X. It's like, who the fuck is Dr. X? Sounds like Dr. Doom or some shit. And then I looked him up, and then who was it? It was Stephen Toth. He reached out to me, and I was like, I knew who Stephen was, but I didn't know who Dr. X was. And then Stephen started chatting with me, and then believe it or not, Dr. X's program, Anthony, is closed, but he gave me access to it. But that was way after the fact, and I've actually been talking to him, and he's going to be on the show, so he'll talk about it. But other than what he's doing, micro workers, I can do the step by step, but micro workers, Craigslist, and then the click-through rate bots, and using neighborhood proxies, it all gets freaking expensive. I charge a minimum $2,500 for 1 month just to do a CTR campaign. So, and then on top of that, doing the neighborhood pages. But when you see me posting online those green grids, that's not with CTR. That's just with the freaking neighborhood pages and doing the things that I do on those neighborhood pages. That's not CTR. Not one bit.
So how you saying neighborhood pages? So how you do it as neighborhood pages?
Did you watch video 1, 2, 3 yet?
I watched 1, 2.
Okay, number 3, I believe yesterday, that's when we went over it, but let me pull it up again and I'll show you. So for instance, if you're in, this one's near Round Rock, Texas. If you look up Round Rock, Texas on Google, you're going to find that there are multiple areas around Round Rock. I create a service area page for every single one of those areas in the main keyword, which is obviously eye doctor. In Lockhart, eye doctor here, eye doctor here, eye doctor here. Every one of these pages, this is what it looks like. It's all of the services put on one page, your headers, and then the text mentioning the specific area. Right? All that information. Then the very bottom, which we were talking about earlier, is in each one of these areas in Lockhart also have additional areas, and then also has neighborhoods, and then has top sites, suggested day plans, and then on top of it we have the Lockhart map, and then we also have our main map. Then we have some reviews down here, and that's it. And we do that for every single one of the pages. And one of the videos where I was showing you is, for example, the rankings for that as well. So that some of those, let me pull it up real quick.
Before you go, the content on all those pages are the same?
Same, except for the bottom part.
Okay.
And every one of them I showed in the video, because people will say, well, they're not going to be indexed. Well, if you go to, the video, and you'll see it very clearly, they are definitely indexed. You're definitely indexed. And I can even show you where we started getting them indexed, because if it was duplicate content, Google would not index them. And I'll show you.
So did you index them every so often, or did you wait until they were all done?
Google indexed them myself. I
Oh.
submit them. I submit the new sitemap. Google indexes them. I've never had a problem with indexing, but I do things just a tad bit differently. And I'll show you this, for instance. Oh, let's go here. Overview.
So do you ever not index? I mean, like, do you have to index?
I mean, I do every time we do anything, we index them. I mean, because otherwise, if it doesn't get indexed, then it's, you know. Give me 1 second.
Okay, so this neighborhoods website, they showing up rank organically or
Organically.
or just organically. So that's not gonna help the local.
Yeah, on your maps, not unless you have multiple.
Okay.
I'm just doing it for organic in that sense. Yeah, let me pull this real quick.
William, you're saying you
Open report.
if you're building a eye doctor in Miami and you have a Fort Lauderdale location page,
Mm-hmm.
you won't show up in the Fort Lauderdale map pack. You'll just show up number 1 organically.
If it depends on what I'm trying to reach for, that's what my point is. So, for example, give you an example. So, like with this one, when clearly eye care, my main goal with her GMB is to get ranked in Round Rock and within miles of Round Rock. Okay, I'm doing those location pages just to basically spread my proximity. So the closer you get to a GMB or their location, right? The closer you get to it, the more those green dots are going to be green instead of red. When you spread out the proximity, which is what I'm trying to do and pull in proximity with that information, the further away you get from my location, the more those, instead of being red and orange, will be green. And I'll give you, let me go ahead and just give y'all an example. And I have this. Let me pull up local Falcon. I'll see if I can see the reports.
But I'm sorry, I don't understand. You say that these neighborhood pages don't help the local pack. It's just helping organic.
It's easier for me to show you. It's this. Let me pull open this. So let's see this real quick. This pay report. And so let's go share screen. So this is for eye doctor, right? And she's in Round Rock. So my goal, this is obviously where she's at. Her physical location is right here where it's number 1. My goal when I create these neighborhood pages is to create proximity signals. The only way you're going to rank way over here or way over here is if I increase my proximity signals. You know, can and do I get ranked way over here for eye doctor or whatever term I'm trying to get ranked for? Yes. This is not even her original map. This was like her 2nd or 3rd month map. Now, and Anthony's seen it, now it's more green all over the place. But what happens?
Sorry. Go ahead.
So what happens is, as these proximity signals are coming in, these go from reds and oranges to greens. And that's what I'm trying to get at. You're trying to always get those signals up. Let me pull up another one, see if I could see it. This was
okay. So doing this neighborhood website actually is helping the
help.
ranking in the
Yes,
grids.
it does help. This is her new map. And this is in the past 30 days.
Okay, how far is the grid? Is that like
this is 13 by 13. Anytime I run a grid, and I'll show you. Anytime, every time I run a grid.
What distance do you set it at? I normally do a kilometer. Is that the same as what you do?
I don't know what kilometers are. I know what they are, but I don't know how many it equals in comparison to this.
So is that 13 miles? So is that a mile apart?
10 miles, 13 by 13.
Yeah, I see that the tools that I normally use local Viking, so the tool is just slightly different.
Yep. So this is, you're talking about in a 10-mile radius around her location. Most people, I'm not going to go crazy and go 30, 40 miles. Most people are not going to drive more than like 10 miles to get to an eye doctor or a dentist or something like that, unless it's something that I can't get. See, she's over there. You got what? So this is for a plastic surgeon that I'm, so I actually had a client come to me about this one.
Okay, when you're saying the proximity signal, you mean, so if somebody from clicking on the sub pages for each town around, if the Google see that people getting to the sub pages, letting this website rank in a tree pack in a grid?
Okay, what is a proximity signal to you? Proximity signal is how close am I to your location, right? So when I increase those signals saying that my location is right here, but I'm increasing the proximity signals all around, then it's going to show up as if I'm closer to it than I really am.
Okay.
That's the point of increasing proximity signals. So if I'm over here at a location, let's say it's Jim's Pizza Place or whatever, just a park, and I'm increasing those proximity signals, then these areas are going to start popping up green. Even though I'm nowhere near, I'm not right on top of the location, because my proximity signals are sending signals to it, it's going to start popping up, or instead of reds and oranges, it's going to start popping up greens. This has been at least my experience. So give me 1 second.
William, when you talk, maybe I'm missing something. When you talk about green, that means that it pops up either 1, 2, or 3 in the map pack.
Correct. The higher up the map pack it goes, the brighter it gets. Let me go to the reports and I'll show you again. Actually,
and I think like a good way we were taught, William, is like the GMB is like an antenna, and by increasing the proximity signals, you are making that antenna signal stronger.
Correct. And
it's almost like moving the store further out, right? You're physically moving like the center.
These are all the ones are the dark greens. The further away they get, the lighter they are. This guy's ranked 1, 2, and 3, and he has 3 of them right here that are 4. This is for a moving company. I know that one for fact.
But if there's any competition in those outlying areas with the same GMB main category, you're likely not going to outrank them, right? Because they have a physical presence.
No, I don't mean, in my opinion, at least, you could have let me put it this way. You can have a physical presence there, but if you're not doing what you should be doing SEO wise, or let's say your name of your business isn't correct, or give me 1 second. If you're not doing the same things that are going to increase your proximity and increase your SEO signals, you're still not going to rank. You'll rank for your term. Let's say my website is, I'm an eye doctor in Dallas. And if you're right on top of my proximity, of course you're going to find me, because there's no other doctor that's in my building, but if you step further away and further away, you're not going to find me if you're not doing what you should be doing. And I had someone ask me just yesterday. They said, for example, and you'll hear this a lot in SEO, once I get ranked, am I always going to need you? Well, it depends on how much competition is there in your niche and your area, and what's your population like, and various other factors. If you're in a medium to high competition, yes, you're going to always need an SEO expert, always. Either that, or you're going to need to learn SEO yourself and start doing some of the things to maintain the rankings. Now, if you're in a low competition area, let's say in an area with, let's say, 20,000 people or less, and it's for a term, let's say lice removal in Antarctica or some crazy just niche that's like niche down. Like for me, I could tell for one, I've done, and you've seen this, I know Anthony's seen it, it's like crime scene. What once I start getting that crime scene cleanup area done, I can almost dominate that entire area. And there's reason, I'm doing this right now for 2 other locations. So
okay, I have a question about this proximity signal. So
mhm.
I'm doing a lot of GMB for small towns,
Mhm.
And so I got, let's say, in Chicagoland for each town, I got separate GMB. So I don't want to each this GMB rank for a town next town, but I want to rank for, let's say, 3 zip code for this town. So I should do the sub pages for just the zip code.
I would do it just for the zip codes in your case, if that's how you're doing. If you're doing multiple GMBs, it's totally different. Like this one I'm showing you is just one location. They just have one location. She's not someone that wants, let's say 10, 20, 30 GMBs. She's just not going to do it. She's not going to be able to pay for it for one.
Okay.
But now someone like yourself or someone else that I'm dealing with that has multiple GMBs, that's something totally different. I'd have a totally different plan for someone with those kind of, things. I would go literally in that case, I'll give you an example. If you were in Chicago, Illinois, I would choose all the zip codes in Chicago, Illinois. I'd make pages for each one of those zip codes, area pages for each one of those areas, neighborhood information, everything. Kind of similar, but just a little bit different.
So, William, if you didn't have a physical address and use service area, would you still use this?
I would always have a physical address. That's just me. So there are people that will talk. If you watch the other ones, we talked about this the other day. Should you have, I'll tell you what Google Terms of Service says. I'll tell you what I would do. Google Terms of Service says, no, if you're a service area business, you do not qualify for you have to hide your address. Just like Google Terms of Service says that if you only have an online store, you do not qualify for a GMB. So how do you resolve this? They're not telling you shouldn't have a GMB. They're not telling you you don't have to have your address. They're telling you how to have it. So I would get a physical address. How you go about getting the physical address is up to you. And there are people there are people who say, well, for instance,
co-working space.
Yeah, they say co-working spaces don't work. Yes, they do. It depends on where you're buying them from. Are you buying them from a data center where Google knows for fact that anything that's at this address is a co-location? Or are you buying it from one that they've never heard of? That maybe, let's say, has 10 offices versus this place that everybody wants to buy from. Then you get some SEO expert says, oh, they don't work, is from the sheer fact that they go buy one from a location or a co-working location that has hundreds of offices all over the United States and sometimes all over the world. Then no, they're not going to work.
Now, William, in that case, let's say it was a lawn care provider. I mow lawns for a living. So I service all these areas. I don't have an office. I have my home. Should I list my home as my Google My Business address? No.
I mean, should you? No. Can you? Yes. I showed you one, I think yesterday or the day before, which is one of my which is one that I give my leads out. I'm ranked number 1 and it shows my home address.
Yep.
And I've had someone take it down and within 2 days had it back up.
So
you're not supposedly due to quality issues, Google will not put it back up, but it was put back up within 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, I did mine by mistake. I mean, for me running my out of the home, I listed the address and I've got 20 5-star reviews and it still stayed up, but I've been a little nervous about that.
I mean, I understand, like, I used to at one point, I had, this is, just me. I used to, and I still do this. I have people that come to my house because I'm very trusting. I'm very open. And I understand why you should not, because people are crazy, people do stupid crap, and you don't want them coming to your house. So in my case, I would say get a business address. I'm not going to tell you, there's different ways of doing it. Co-working places do work as long as you don't use one that's in a major data center or in their data information. Then you can also, I know people go, hey buddy, I have a friend, he has a suite that's not being used. Can I use it? Yes, sure. Craigslist. Send out, I know a guy did this, we talked about this every day. You go into a neighborhood, send out letters into that entire neighborhood, say, I'll give you $50 for anybody that will receive a code in your mailbox. Please respond. Yes. You literally send it out to the entire neighborhood, just a letter. You're wanting 1 or 2 responses. Next thing you know,
I have, I don't have a problem get the addresses. My lately problem was at the last 6 postcard I sent it, just after I put the pin was suspended right away. What I can do about that?
You can email me and ask me for my friend Molly, and she'll help you. Anthony,
okay.
Anthony, the other day. Now, what can you do about it? I would ask you, sorry, are you doing citations prior to doing the GMB? Are you doing your data aggregators prior to doing your GMB?
No, I did nothing, but it was happening only for a house cleaning category. If I tried for a less spammy category, I didn't have a problem.
Me, the way I do every single GMB that we would do, before I do the GMB, I would say, you take your business information, send it to the data aggregator, send it to tier 1 citations, tier 2 citations, and put it out to the main top citations. Not all of them, just like, let's say 15 of them that actually matter, not the cheesy, crappy ones, but the ones that matter. And then when I go to send my information into Google, Google's not going to go, I don't think you're real. I don't think you don't exist, because that's why they're getting with the spammy categories, because I deal with locksmiths and garage door specialists in some of the most spammiest industries out there.
Actually, the house cleaning is spammy too.
Yeah, I understand, but that's how I do them. And I have never had one locksmith where I go to, verify it and then turn around them, say, nope, sorry, and ask for re-verification. I have had them suspended, and whenever they're suspended, I get them up within 2 days.
A follow-up though on that same thing is, how many businesses is he using to
and then
the same address for?
how many are, and then on top of it, are you doing all the GMBs from the same Gmail account? Are you using different Gmail accounts? Are you using local guide accounts to verify them at all?
Okay, every time I'm using the new Gmail account. So my next question was, should I use the old Gmail account?
I would use an old Gmail account prior to, in that I would not create a brand new Gmail account. That's going to throw it off right there. I mean, that alone will throw it off.
But 6 months ago didn't have a problem. That started like lately.
I understand.
I always was
6 months, about 6 months ago, and then prior to COVID is when they started slapping everybody. But I'm just saying, for me, an aged Gmail account, or same thing with when you have other issues, but aged Gmail accounts, are going to be much better if you do a brand new Gmail account. It's going to look like spam.
Where do you buy your aged Gmail accounts?
Email me and I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Okay, let me know if I buy this all Gmail accounts. I'm gonna email you as well. But I think they're gonna be outside of United States. There is matter for Google if this old
Gmail accounts I got are USA based.
Oh, great!
I can get USA based, Canadian based. I only deal with only areas I deal with. All my clients are either USA, UK, Australia, and Canada, and I only have a handful in UK and a handful in Canada.
And how are you sure they're really from a US account?
The only way I'm sure is I mean, if you ask me, do I verify that they're from the US? I trust my source. And then I've never had any issues with any of them, you know, being, if you will, going to do verifications and then having issues with them. That's the only
Okay, great. So
that's the only issues I've had. And then for instance, my guy that I can get GMBs from, he isn't, and I think y'all asked for me the other day. His name is Muhammad Raul, and he does GMB verifications. The way he does GMB verifications, right? He'll do a GMB verification. If it ever goes down within the first month, he replaces it for free. You know,
okay, how much he charge?
Last time I talked to him, I think he was charging around $100 for a GMB. I had another guy at one point, but I don't have his contact anymore. He was charging a little less, but you had to buy 10 every time. So
have you ever tried figure out yourself how to verify without the postcard?
I don't try to do it those ways. I have other ways that are much easier in my opinion, which is just Craigslist and letters.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I don't have a problem get the addresses, but
and then on top of it, I mean, for me, you got to understand. I mean, I think me and you talked the other day, but I have, besides running the agency, dealing with 80 clients, I have 2 kids I homeschool. I have a grandchild, and then I have a whole thing. You know, our house is being worked on. I have 20 something carpenters here at all times, and I'll do a walkthrough and show y'all one day. But it's like I look at it as like this: what's your time worth? Mine is very valuable. So if it's going to cost me $100 to get a GMB, yeah, I'll do it. You know, if I'm going to buy 10 of them, I'll do it. I've bought, you know, I'll do whatever I got to do, but I'm just not going, you know, I'm not going to sit there and try to nickel and dime. Even with him, I don't nickel and dime him. I'll tell him, say, you know, if I order in bulk, can you give me a little discount? Yes. Okay, cool. You know, but I'm not going to, you know, I went now, and I know people that quote unquote sell the verification methods or swear to God they sell the verification methods and sell it to someone for $2, $3, $4 grand, and then they rip them off because guess what? It didn't work. And he'll sit there and tell me, he says, this is the verification we used to use. It doesn't work anymore. Here's the new one we're using. And he tells me exactly how to do it. And then he tells me, if you have this type of an account, I can get as many GMBs as you want.
Yeah, actually, I figure out this way myself. I verify lately myself 20 is about the account.
Are you using, is it Yelp?
No.
Okay, he's talking about
he's instant verification for any address.
Yeah, he was telling me one about Yelp. I was talking to him about 3 days ago. So
no, I actually figure out way myself. I was trying to think how the Google thing, because the Google wanted some people verify themselves. Like instant. So I just figure out how to do it. Just you know.
I remember that. I remember the days. It's literally you do a GMB. Hey, they want a phone call. Pick it up. Enter in the code. Done. Not no more. You know. So
I have another question. I read your ebook, and there was saying about this icon from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and you know how they can show up on about page on GMB. And I got followers in Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and actually for us 5 different social media, only one showing up. Actually, I can give you the company name. You can check her out. Is a Happy Star Carpet Cleaning in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, email me the link, because a lot of that, how it works is not just simply, okay, for instance, I know several things. You have the schema, but besides the schema, Google's pulling that data off of obviously online and other factors, such as if you share a post, how many people are sharing it? Are you popular? How much traction do you have? Stuff like that. If I go in there and I'm sending, let's say, generic traffic, and because I could send generic traffic, and most people know this to anything, but the thing is, are people sharing your content?
Okay, so yeah, I followed about that, and of course, all these my followers are fake. But somehow the Facebook showing up, even their Facebook, likes are also,
Are so
fake.
fake. But it's not the likes that I'm talking about. I'm specifically talking because for me, likes are pointless. I mean, they're not pointless, but are they sharing your content? Like if
Like
you
I said, no, nobody even visited
Facebook is still
Facebook profile.
showing. Send me the link and I'll look at it.
Okay, I will.
Hey, one thing before I go, your friend Molly, does she take care of only legitimate GMBs that got suspended, or
I'll answer that question the way me and Andy were just talking. Is she will tell you need a business signage, you need besides business signage, you need a lease agreement, you need a bill that has your business name and address on it.
Okay.
And then you fill out a form. Once you get that, then it's done. I sent her to a locksmith, very spammy. She sent in all that information, I think, in that category, and that was in Texas. I think it took her 4 days. Normally it's 24 hours with her. Anthony's done a couple with her.
What's her price range?
It
depends on the niche.
I think it's $50. I mean, something like that. One of them was like $50, and then I know if it's like more intensive. When I say more intensive, I mean is it a soft band, hard band, and then depending on that information, the price will go up. But
I have one that was suspended about a year ago.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you can get that one back. And then one that was suspended a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, she asked all that information. It's nothing. I mean, I have certain people I use and I look to, and then they handle it. It's just certain people. I've been doing certain things for years, so I just let them do what they're good at. Same thing when I sent you guys my mobile, for mobile page speed and everything.
Have you ever heard about somebody just fake the papers and send to Google to be, unsuspended?
Say that again. Fake what papers?
Like utility bills, some, bank account.
Of course.
For a day.
It's not a matter of, I mean, I'm just telling you what they want, how you get it. It's up to you. Obviously don't get caught doing it, but.
Okay. But you heard it work for somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You guys,
I have two questions for you,
yep.
William.
Go ahead, Sherry.
So you had mentioned, I remembered the one question. You keep mentioning that you'll put it in the group, and I just wanted to make sure I was in the right group. Which group are you talking about?
On the Axle course material.
So
and what I tell everybody too is this: if you have questions, email them to me. I'm keeping it into a folder, and then ever so often I'm dropping that material. And if you see tools you like or you've used, they're good for something, send them to me, and I'm putting it in the back end of the course.
The course. Okay.
Because
So that's the group.
Yeah, and the course is the group. Then you'll see me post stuff in the Google My Business Help group, and then I also have my own group, which is Google My Business Domination.
Okay.
And when my Facebook is up, you'll see it on my Facebook wall.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then the other question I just had is, if you do get a GMB suspended and you decide you're going to switch the address to a different one, what is the best method, in your opinion, do you just kind of change the address, put in a new one?
I change my citations first. After I change my citations and the data that's out there on the web, in obviously my website and everywhere else, then I change my GMB. Once I change my GMB, if it does get suspended, then I contact Molly, give Molly the information she wants, and it's out of suspension within 24 hours.
So you don't have to mark it as closed and then reopen. You just change the address. Yeah. Okay.
I don't do none of that.
Just making sure.
I hear that advice all the time in the group, and I would never do it.
Okay.
Will, what do you, 2 questions. Do you worry about hiding your footprint as far as IPs and stuff with all these different GMBs? And the second part of that question is, how do you keep track of all your GMBs?
I have, like I told you, I said spreadsheets are going to be your friend. Google Sheets. When it comes to IP addresses, I buy them, I mean, via neighborhood IP proxies and stuff like that. Because, for instance, especially with CTR, your CTR methods are only going to be as good as your proxies. If you
Okay, so you're not using multi-login app or anything? Okay.
So, and the only, and I swear, the only thing that's ever given me issues, and I've had people say, well, you have to with GMB and you have to with this, is Facebook. Facebook's the only one that ever given me issues, ever.
And you're using Google Sheets, but do you worry about putting your data in Google Sheets?
I have backups of my backups of my backups. So,
okay.
And I've learned it's the same thing with Facebook. It's like when they take one account down, I already have another one. I take, it's like even, I mean, it's just, I've learned over the years, it's like even with web design, it's like when I go to do something major, back it up. I have backups of everything because I've learned over time, I can't trust anything. And if anything, this past, what was it, 3 months ago or 2 months ago, I believe, where Gmail went down, YouTube went down, everything went down, everybody went berserk. Yeah,
right.
Because if that was to happen, yeah, most people are screwed because they don't have backups of everything.
So I have everything, for like everything's all in one Gmail account.
Yeah.
Like everything.
You shouldn't. That's the hardest part. And then you wind up going, then you have to say, okay, I'm trying to remember what's here. And that's a pain in the ass. So I'll keep a lot of it. Stuff that I'm fearful of losing per se, I will keep on my desktop. And I'm very, if you look at my desktop right now, I consider this unorganized, but usually I literally have folder, and everything's organized because I have separate drives for a bunch of stuff. But I have clients will share stuff with me on Google Drive, but on my sheets, I probably have 4 or 5 sheets there, but the rest of it's on my desktop in folders.
Interesting, because when that happened a few weeks ago, when Google went down and I couldn't get access to anything, I was like, oh boy, I'm exposed here, big time.
Yeah, we were fine mainly because I have stuff. I use Sheets to keep track of. I tell people all the time. So on top of 80 something clients, we're doing 20 to 30 web builds on a monthly basis, easy. Next week we'll be signing. Last week we onboarded probably 20 new clients. This upcoming week we'll onboard 12 new website designs at least that I know are in the funnel. And if I don't have those in my sheets, because I use the sheets to say, okay, what websites are coming up, what SEO is coming up, what tasks are coming up, what citations have been done, what backlinks have been done, where's my Money Robot links going, what's my Gmail, everything. I literally, because I have everything done for my VAs. I have a VA that does this. I have a VA that does this, and everything. They have their own sheet. That way, when we go to do backlinks, when the guy does the post, he takes his post, puts them in his Google sheet. That way we keep track of everything. That way, when I go to do backlinks towards the Google posts, or I go to do backlinks towards the Google site, then I have it all in one location. But that's why I have, like I said, whenever I have the Google Sheets, I do backups of everything. So,
okay. Are you going to be covering at all about a client acquisition process or your prospecting process or what that looks like?
That part of? It's not part of this, but it's something I could talk about. And we'll probably, if there's enough interest, y'all let me know. There's something that we could possibly do another class on, like, let's say a 5-day course or something, or a 5-day boot camp, in which, because I've told people before, if I was to show you, and this is why I would tell you why Facebook does what they do with me. But there's another guy I listen to, and I'll pull it up, but his name is John, and I couldn't stand him when I first met him. But the guy's a mad scientist, really, if you want to know my opinion. And I follow another guy named Blake Newbar, and basically he says, you know what, I really don't give a shit when Facebook takes my stuff down, because I just go and make more money. I make new 4,000 or 5,000 friends, and it doesn't really give a crap. So this, prior to COVID, and I'll talk and we'll do this, Paul, but basically prior to COVID, prior to me doing my agency, starting it up, this was my calendar. Then if you follow what I can show you, this is where, prior to my calendar, this is when I started picking up clients here and there. You see a couple of clients. And then this is when I started following my directions I can teach people. So,
Okay, dude, we all want to know that. We all want to know that. So let's set up another course, charge us $50. Let's go.
So we'll do that, and we'll go over it, because like this month has been insane. Next month will be insane, but
you can't handle them all, buddy. That's why we're here. You can't handle them all. We're good.
One way to get yourself
my
clients is
schedule's just opened
rank
up.
your site.
Yeah.
What was that, Anthony?
One way to get clients is just rank your SEO agency website for SEO expert terms in your area.
Dude, we're all over that. We're all over that. I'm greedy. I want it all.
Do we also have to start eating soup for breakfast as well?
Well, I'll tell you why I do that. I started eating soup for breakfast because when I came to the Philippines, if anybody's ever been in, especially the Philippines, the pollution is really bad. And when you take someone that's never been in pollution in a first world country, pull them in a third world country, and I go, hey, I want to start riding my motorcycle, and I become addicted to riding motorcycle, and that's all I want to do without a face shield, without a helmet, besides it being stupid. You start breathing in all the fumes, and within, I believe 3 weeks of doing that, I had an ear infection, coughing and everything. And of course, everybody's like, is it COVID? Because this is right before COVID. Luckily, I had a doctor that sent me my meds and stuff. And even now, first thing in the morning, I love coffee, but it irritates my dripping and everything. So she brings me soup in the morning. She's like, you're going to drink your soup. And my other guy, my mentor, he says, you need to drink water. Jeff will tell me you better be drinking water anytime we have a call. And then on top of it, he'll also tell me, make sure you're drinking your soup and your broth and stuff like that. So.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About this. When I sending the postcard, my account's getting suspended. So if I buy all Gmail accounts, should I send the postcard from a different IP, or can I just using one, just doing everything from my desktop?
I try to use different IPs. I mean, I don't try to do everything from one IP because it's going to look very spammy, very suspicious, Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys, when y'all go to talk to Molly's the type, she's going to tell you how to abide by the terms of service. She's not going to be, here's how to violate the terms of service. It's here's how to make it happen is all. I got to get going. The construction workers are starting to work some more, and I'm starting to barely hear y'all because I hear them drilling up underneath me. So
thank you, William.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much.
On Monday,
Thanks for your time.
Monday, we're going to be building out the website and actually going in there and building it out and stuff. And I will see y'all Monday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.